Can there be too much freedom? What a strange question. Like, freedom comes in quantities. Maybe I feel more comfortable asking myself if we really are free. Yeah. Because I've always felt more like a sort of voluntary servant. Living always under the spell of Western society. Too much freedom. If someone is too free, does that mean that they are free of morals, feelings, beliefs? To what extent are they conscious? I guess I'm inclined to respond to this question with a bunch of other questions, but I do believe this. As a filmmaker, I know it is my job to create a different world for people to dissolve into, to create an escape. I think we all need to escape from something. Reality, I suppose. If freedom is real, maybe it might not be for us.
Alright, okay, yes. I don't need your respect! Hello? Yes. Hello? Hold on. I just can't hate enough! But I got no tears or regret! Homeboy, she taking, just move it.
Sometimes I wonder if what we're searching for when we act wild and crazy is freedom.
Oh, hi. I'm Peter Granlick.
In life, there's social structures which prevent total freedom. There's always freedom of self and expression. I mean, you can always act in your own, you can always do whatever you want.
The novel begins with a question. Is it possible for an Englishman and an Indian to ever be friends? In the context of British colonialism in India, ever? E.M. Forster uses the question as a framework for dealing with Britain's political control over India, but on a more personal level through the friendships taking place in the novel. Perhaps the Greater India should ignore their British rulers completely, perhaps just as the British seem to ignore their subjects. "Why can't we be friends now?" said the other, holding him affectionately. "It's what I want. It's what you want." But the horses didn't want it. They swerved apart. The earth didn't want it, sending up rocks through which riders must pass single file. The temples, the tank, the jail, the palace, the birds, the carry-on, the guest house that came into view as they issued from the gap and saw Mao beneath. They didn't want it, they said in their 100 voices. "No, not yet," said the sky. "No, not there."
How you do things is determined by what society you're functioning in. Even if by some chance you were born without any social structure to tell you how to do things, you would still not be free because of how the natural instinct, your natural instincts. So you would still have to do what nature tells you to do, and you would not be free to do whatever it is you desired, because nature would decide for you what you desired. You would desire to eat, pee, sleep, poop, whatever.
can soon fall. I follow you can soon fall. Follow your guns, follow attention, follow yours.
Let me show you how far our nature is enlightened or unenlightened. Behold, human beings living in an underground den which has a mouth open towards the light and reaching all along the den. Here they have been from their childhood, and have their legs and necks chained so they cannot move, and can only see before them, being prevented by the chains from turning round their heads. Above and behind them a fire is blazing at a distance, and between the fire and the prisoners there is a raised way, and you will see, if you look, a low wall built along the way, like the screen, which marionette players have in front of them, over which they show the puppets. And do you see men passing along the wall carrying all sorts of vessels, and statues and figures of animals made of wood and stone and various materials, which appear over the wall? Some of them are talking, others silent. They see only their shadows, or the shadows of one another, which the fire throws on the opposite wall of the cave. At first, when any of them is liberated and compelled suddenly to stand up and turn his neck round, and walk and look towards the light, he will suffer sharp pains, the glare will distress him, and he will be unable to see the realities of which in his former state he had seen the shadows. I think that he would rather suffer anything than entertain these false notions and live in this miserable manner. In the world of knowledge, the idea of good appears last of all, and is seen only with an effort, and, when seen, is also inferred to be the universal author of all things beautiful and right, parent of light and of the Lord of light in this visible world, and the immediate source of reason and truth in the intellectual, and that this is the power upon which he would act rationally, either in public or private life, must have his eye fixed. The power and capacity of learning exists in the soul already, just as the eye was unable to turn from darkness to light without the whole body, so too the instrument of knowledge can only by the movement of the whole soul be turned from the world of becoming into that of being, and learn by degrees to endure the sight of being, and of the brightest and best of being, or in the other words, of the good. What sort of knowledge is there which would draw the soul from becoming to being?
Follow